Nick shocks Victor by promising to expose fabricated evidence against Phyllis if she returns Newman Enterprises, leaving Phyllis facing a painful choice. Meanwhile, Claire sees a future with Holden despite Victoria's concerns. Devon clashes with Lily over Holden, Stephanie considers a major hospital position, and Matt Clark's remorse continues to divide Genoa City. Welcome to A Mysterious Time TV, where the drama unfolds and the stories captivate. Join us as we explore the fascinating world of Young and the Restless, uncovering untold stories and hidden truths behind the headlines. Y&RRecap Wednesday, June 3rd. Nick challenges Victor as Phyllis faces a difficult decision. Tensions rise throughout Genoa City as loyalties are tested, relationships evolve, and several residents face life-changing choices. While Nick Newman attempts to balance justice and compassion, Phyllis Summers finds herself cornered with few options left. Elsewhere, Claire opens up about her growing feelings for Holden, Devon clashes with Lily over her judgment, and Stephanie considers a major career opportunity. Claire and Victoria discuss Holden's growing importance. At Society, Victoria sits alone, visibly troubled, when Claire returns from New York. After sharing a warm embrace, the two begin discussing the ongoing tension between Victor and Nikki, both disappointed that reconciliation still seems out of reach. Victoria expresses confidence that the Newman family will soon regain control of Newman Enterprises. Curious about Claire's trip, she initially asks about Malcolm but quickly admits she's more interested in hearing about Holden. Claire first shares positive news about Malcolm, revealing that his surgery was successful and doctors expect a full recovery. She then recounts the many attractions she and Holden visited during their time in New York. Victoria soon steers the conversation toward Claire's feelings for Holden. Claire admits she wouldn't label the relationship serious yet, though she genuinely enjoyed spending time with him. While she isn't certain she's ready for a committed relationship, she acknowledges that Holden has become important to her. Recognizing her mother's concerns, Claire invites Victoria to voice them. Victoria admits she worries because she's her mother. Claire reassures her that she feels secure with Holden and believes she can handle whatever happens. However, Victoria remains uneasy, especially considering Claire's earlier suspicions that Holden might be hiding something. Claire admits she still believes Holden is keeping a secret related to Audra. Although she dislikes the secrecy, she no longer views it as something sinister and doubts it's as significant as she once feared. The conversation turns introspective when Victoria recalls Claire's fear of becoming obsessed with uncovering Holden's past. Claire acknowledges that behavior reminds her of Jordan's tendency to become consumed by revenge and suspicion. Victoria insists Claire is nothing like Jordan, and Claire credits her mother for helping her become a different person. Claire also reveals that Holden recently shared his emotional reaction to learning Malcolm is his father. Having experienced her own identity crisis, she understands how such revelations can reshape a person's entire sense of self. By the end of the conversation, Claire admits she can envision her relationship with Holden developing into something deeper. Devon confronts Holden while Lily defends him. At Crimson Lights, Holden encounters Devon and Lily seated together. Lily asks for an update on Malcolm's condition. Holden happily reports that Malcolm is recovering remarkably well. He's alert, joking with visitors, and expected to leave the hospital within days. Holden even jokes about a nurse who seems unimpressed with Malcolm, predicting Malcolm will refuse to leave until he wins her over. When Lily steps away to answer a phone call from Maddie, Holden is left alone with Devon. The atmosphere quickly becomes tense. Devon openly admits that he is protective of his family, particularly Lily. He explains that his concerns about Holden have not disappeared and warns him against taking advantage of his newly discovered connection to the Winters family. Speaking bluntly, Devon makes it clear that the Winters family is not a pathway to wealth or opportunity. Holden understands why Devon is suspicious and hopes he can eventually prove his character. Devon replies that he hopes so too. Holden insists he has no intention of forcing his way into the Winters family's personal or professional circle. Devon cautions that doing so would be unwise. While Holden appreciates Devon's honesty, he points out that he didn't orchestrate the circumstances surrounding Malcolm. The situation simply happened. When Lily returns, she senses the tension and asks if everything is all right. Holden smooths things over, explaining that he and Devon were discussing the importance of family. After requesting updates on Malcolm's recovery, he leaves. Once alone, Lily confronts Devon about his attitude. Devon dismisses her concerns, arguing that Holden can handle himself. Lily believes Devon could show more empathy and questions why he's being so harsh. Devon admits he's trying to protect her. Lily acknowledges his good intentions but argues that his protective instincts are causing him to lash out unnecessarily. She suggests the real issue is that Devon doesn't trust her judgment. Devon confesses that her recent decisions worry him. He's uncomfortable with her forgiveness of Cain and her willingness to welcome Holden into her life. Lily counters that Devon seems angry at everyone lately, and his behavior is beginning to concern her. Noah and Sienna reflect on Matt's impact. Meanwhile, at Noah's newly recreated club, Noah anxiously checks his phone while waiting for news from Nick. He asks Sienna whether she's reconsidering the project. Sienna admits the experience is emotionally overwhelming. Noah has recreated the atmosphere perfectly, making it feel almost identical to the original venue she designed. Although Noah intended the project as a positive opportunity, he worries the location may trigger more painful memories than happy ones. Sienna reluctantly agrees. She appreciates Noah's efforts but admits it's difficult to separate the club from everything Matt has done. She fears being pulled back toward the life she once shared with him. Realizing the emotional impact, Noah apologizes for not considering how strongly the setting might affect her. Sienna says she genuinely wanted to work on the project but wasn't prepared for the flood of emotions it would bring. Their attention then shifts back to Matt. Noah notes that Nick still hasn't contacted him. Sienna finds that troubling. They discuss Matt's reaction after regaining his memories. Noah remarks that Matt delivered quite a performance, while Sienna admits she never expected to witness such obvious guilt and remorse. Although she knows Matt can't be trusted, she surprisingly found herself feeling sympathy for him. Both agree that nobody truly knows what comes next. Noah warns that Matt remains unpredictable. Nick gives Phyllis an ultimatum. At the Genoa City Athletic Club, Phyllis fiercely denies Nick's accusation that she knowingly protected a fugitive. She reminds him that she saved his life and cannot believe he would consider lying to authorities after everything she did. Nick remains firm. He insists that she must immediately surrender Newman Enterprises. Phyllis is stunned and accuses him of becoming someone she barely recognizes. She argues that the Nick she once knew would never treat her this way. Nick refuses to be swayed. While acknowledging that she saved him, he insists it doesn't erase her actions. Phyllis explains that she saved him because she cared about him, not because she expected anything in return. Nick admits he owes her his life but warns that she could still face prison if she refuses to cooperate. When Michael arrives, he senses the tension and asks what's happening. Phyllis reveals Nick's plan. He intends to tell authorities that she knowingly sheltered Matt Clark unless she returns the company. Nick doesn't deny it. Instead, he explains that the Newman family simply wants its company back. If Phyllis complies, the charges will disappear. Michael worries Victor may continue targeting Phyllis even after the company is returned. Nick insists he'll handle both Victor and Christine. Michael remains skeptical. Nick then reveals his biggest bargaining chip. He is prepared to expose the incriminating emails used against Phyllis as fabricated evidence. Doing so would implicate Victor. Nevertheless, Nick promises he'll make sure Christine cannot successfully prosecute Phyllis. After delivering his ultimatum, Nick leaves and gives Phyllis until the end of the day to decide. Stephanie considers a permanent move to Genoa City. Elsewhere at the athletic club, Nate meets with Stephanie. He admits he expected her to remain in New York with Malcolm, but Stephanie reports that Malcolm's recovery is progressing exceptionally well. The two doctors discuss the frustrations that come with people constantly seeking medical advice from them. Stephanie even jokes that she sometimes hides her profession to avoid such conversations. Their discussion eventually shifts to Holden. Stephanie worries that the emotional reality of Malcolm being Holden's father hasn't fully settled in yet. Nate agrees that the situation remains complicated but is grateful Malcolm is recovering. Stephanie proudly notes that she assembled Malcolm's medical team and believes Malcolm and Holden deserve the opportunity to build a meaningful relationship. Nate then asks whether she has considered staying in Genoa City permanently. Stephanie reveals that Genoa City Memorial Hospital has approached her about becoming chief of medicine. Nate admits he recommended her for the position. Although he once served as chief of surgery and was offered the role himself, he isn't ready to return to medicine and felt she would be ideal. Far from being offended, Stephanie finds the opportunity appealing. She likes the idea of settling in Genoa City, especially since many people there have become important to her. Living nearby would also allow her to repair her damaged relationship with Holden after the truth about Malcolm emerged. Victor is shocked by Nick's plan. Back at Newman Ranch, Nick meets with Victor. Victor encourages his son to seek treatment at the clinic Sharon recommended and reminds him that everyone wants him to recover fully. The discussion turns to Matt Clark. Victor says Matt appears genuinely remorseful but admits only time will reveal whether his regret is sincere. Nick then reveals that he proposed a deal: hand Matt over to authorities in exchange for dropping the charges against Phyllis. Victor is stunned. He says he never would have approved such an arrangement. Nick argues that reclaiming the company is more important than pursuing revenge. Victor questions whether Nick is referring to revenge against Matt or against Phyllis. Nick acknowledges that Phyllis saved his life and admits he still cares about her. He doesn't want her imprisoned. Victor appreciates what Phyllis did but remains focused on recovering Newman Enterprises. Nick explains that he has already delivered an ultimatum. Either Phyllis returns the company or he will inform the Las Vegas Police Department that she knowingly helped a fugitive. Victor asks whether Nick is truly willing to incriminate her. Nick says yes, if she refuses to do the right thing. However, Nick also reveals that if Phyllis returns the company, he intends to help her by proving the damaging emails were fabricated. Victor is deeply troubled by the idea. He accuses Nick of making yet another deal behind his back and insists Christine should never learn the emails were fake. Nick argues that exposing the truth may not matter to Christine anyway. Victor then asks whether Matt deserves punishment. Nick surprisingly admits he isn't sure. Phyllis begins accepting reality. Later, Michael finds Phyllis sitting at the athletic club bar. He checks on her after the emotional confrontation. Phyllis vents her frustration, reminding Michael that she and Matt saved Nick's life after he literally died. Despite that, Nick is now threatening her. She wonders when the attacks from the Newman family will finally end. Michael gently suggests they both already know the answer. As they reflect on the trauma of watching Nick die, Michael praises Phyllis's heroic actions. Yet he warns that no amount of heroism will ever change Victor's feelings toward her. He asks how much longer she can endure the constant pressure. Since taking control of Newman Enterprises, she has faced relentless opposition. Michael believes it's time for her to move forward. Phyllis reluctantly acknowledges that the Newmans have trapped her. She feels they resent her because she succeeded where others thought she would fail. Still, reality is becoming impossible to ignore. When Michael asks whether she's ready to let go and return everything, Phyllis quietly admits that surrendering the company may be her only remaining choice. Holden opens up to Claire. Back at Society, Holden approaches Claire and Victoria. Victoria politely excuses herself, allowing the pair to spend time alone. Claire immediately notices Holden seems emotionally drained and greets him with a long hug. Holden explains that Devon's distrust is weighing on him, though it isn't entirely unexpected. He admits he didn't make the best first impression when he arrived in Genoa City. Claire understands perfectly, pointing out that many residents initially viewed her negatively as well. Holden says he wants to prove himself worthy of being accepted by the Winters family. Rather than taking advantage of his connection, he hopes to earn their trust and demonstrate that he deserves a place among them. As Holden continues his journey of self-discovery, Claire remains firmly in his corner, believing he deserves the chance to show who he truly is. For more of the latest updates and behind-the-scenes secrets from Young and the Restless, make sure to hit subscribe and ring that bell. Stay in the know with every new release.